we've been very excited on Ben Johnson. I think offensively, what we saw yesterday, the most exciting part that we saw from the team offensively was the run game. I mean, you got that run game going. This is now 2 games in a row. I said last week that I thought that DeAndre Swift possibly was unlocked. I didn't think that meant like all the way unlocked, like we was going to, turn into a great running back in the league. 124 yards yesterday, 6.5 yards per reception yesterday on 19 attempts, had 1 touchdown, 1 reception on the day. Just a great day running the football. And on top of that, it's not just about DeAndre Swift. I think you're getting to see a little bit of that dual back situation here. 13 carries for Kyle Monangai for 81 yards, 6.2 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown as well. Kyle Monangai added 13 yards on 2 receptions, and DeAndre Swift had 14 yards on 1 reception there. Absolutely balled out. I thought the O-line looked completely comfortable in the run game versus how it looked in pass pro yesterday. And I thought that you can now say, at least in 2 games, right? And you got to keep doing it. I love what Declan Doyle said. Success is only success in the moment you're successful. That's a bar. Keep that with you in life.
Like that.
But you have seemingly found the formula to make this Bears team a dangerous running team yet again, and maybe adding that to the identity of what this team can be.
Yeah, the marriage between the offensive line and the running backs is starting to really gel. There was a graphic. I was watching the game, and at one point, is it Kirk Herbstreit? No, that can't be his name. Daryl Johnson. Daryl Johnson. I don't know where I got Kirk Herbstreit from.
Who was? There was some weird hate. Like
there always is.
Yesterday was like, and Caleb didn't play well yesterday. I'm not saying like he shouldn't have criticized. I just feel a little bit more of the criticism on some of these, bro.
Oh, I know we're gonna get into that. Like week to week, it's becoming the norm for anybody that talks about Caleb. But going back to what he even said, he did mention a positive. He had showed a graphic of one of the runs and how the offensive line, they're a lot of the guys, whether it's the center and the right guard or the right guard and the right tackle, they're double teaming the defenders, the edge rushers, and pushing them forward 2 to 3 yards, where that's allowing the running back to already get a head start and some steam to gain that 4 or 5 yards every pop. And that's something that we did not see in the years past, where you allowed yourself some space to get going, the running backs to get going and to find those holes and to, get a positive yardage. That's what you're seeing more and more. And again, that's starting to become the identity of this team. Ben Johnson already, we know that he wants the explosive plays. Those things are going to come, whether it's in the pass game, but it's always going to be off of the run game. That has always been his identity coming from Detroit, is that you have to rely on your backs in order for us to get to that pass game, to get to the play action and the other things that we want to do. And so even if it's not working, if the run game is humming and you got 2 guys that are averaging over 6 yards a carry, I mean, that just keep going it, keep feeding it. 222 yards total for the game.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see. We usually have that against us, but that's exactly what we want to see out of our run game. Even might I add, Roschon Johnson had a sighting where he popped off an 11-yard run. And so maybe you start implementing him too.
And you know what? I think that's the difference, right? For some of the people who are like, well, Swifty can't keep this up. Monangai, is he going to really run the football like that? It wasn't just the backs. Like it truly starts with the dogs that you have up front.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I stand on my point. I would never pay a running back $8 million. But that doesn't mean that I don't think that they can have some great production. And DeAndre Swift with this offensive line, I think he's running more intentional. I think you got to give credit to Eric Bieniemy for adjusting some things. I'm sure he won't tell you that. But, like when you see DeAndre Swift being decisive, like there is no jitterbugging in the backfield. There's no, see the hole. Even when the hole ain't there, that's the hole you're supposed to hit it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the biggest difference right now is like last season, I felt like there was a lot of, he's trying to find the hole. He's trying to create something. He's trying to figure out what, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
This season, it feels like my gap is the B gap. I don't know if it's going to be there, but I'm going to hit that B gap. And I think what you're seeing from him now is very much what Eric Bieniemy was talking about. You know, he's going to understand that there's 5 to 6 yards that he can get in the middle of that line. Listen, when DeAndre Swift is running now, I see an angry runner.
Mm-hmm.
When DeAndre Swift is running now, I see a guy who is, you know, yesterday there was a play where who was it? Was it Demario Davis? One, I think it was Demario Davis. Like they tried to bring him down. Oh no, Kool-Aid McKinstry came down. It was Kool-Aid.
Oh, JaQuincy, baby.
Kool-Aid got a little ride.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid was like, I'm gonna meet you in the
And DeAndre was like, oh yeah.
you know, oh yeah. DeAndre Swift going through him. You know, like those are the things that I felt like we didn't see enough of. And now you see that aggressive run. Now you're seeing it, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, well, he's taking it for 3 to 4 more yards because he's not going down at first contact.
Yep.
So, like, I think that seeing back-to-back games, one versus the Commanders, who are a pretty solid run defense, and one versus, you know, the Saints, who kind of, I mean, they're cheeks. Like, they're tough cheeks. You know what I mean? They're like,
wait a minute.
They're like muscular cheeks, if you will. You know what I mean? Like,
they're gym cheeks.
They're gym cheeks. You know what I mean? Like, listen, like. They like China cheeks, if you will. Remember WWE? Remember China back in the day? Remember?
Wait.
You know what I mean? Like, they're a team that you can't count out because they'll put up 14 points like they did yesterday and look like a great offense. But then they'll absolutely fall off a cliff. That's all I'm saying, Doug. But I think that
all right.
Athletic cheeks, Dexter said, is diabolical.
China cheeks is crazy.
But like that doesn't mean that, you know, you can take them lightly. And I thought that we saw a running game that was very intentional, very aggressive, and led the way yesterday for this Bears team to be able to go out there and play a dominant brand of offensive football while struggling on offense at the same time.
You mentioned a word, and it's really simple. It's decisiveness. It's confidence. DeAndre Swift does absolutely look different from last year, and maybe even years past. Because you even talked about, does Ben Johnson really want him on this team? We've already seen them, you know, try to make it work when they were in Detroit, and you know there was question of whether or not he just kind of is going with the flow because he's on the squad. You know, but maybe he wants somebody to replace him. Well, no, you're starting to see that marriage even become very fruitful because, yes, he is. Whether the hole is there or not, I do agree that you're starting to see him be more aggressive and just hit it no matter what. Even if he's gaining 2 yards, he's pushing the power forward. He's not, you know, uncertain. He's not trying to do the jitterbug, as you mentioned. He's making sure that he gets positive yardage, and a lot of that is credit to Eric Bieniemy. Which again, that's the beauty of this coaching staff. When you have the right people in place that are developing and coaching and teaching you to do things the right way, you're starting to see it more and more. It's not just one game here or another game. It's starting to be consistent. So now for the last 2 weeks, you've seen DeAndre Swift be a really, really good running back, not just in the catching department. We know he can do that, or just running to the outside. He's getting yardage. He's getting some of that hard yardage as well in the tackles, in between the tackles. And so it's impressive to see, and I think it's going to continue.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully this run game keeps moving in the right direction. Let's finish it out with this, Jordan. JC, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. I know what to do, because a lot of conversation around Caleb Williams yesterday. And I've said it a couple of times. He didn't play well yesterday. I thought that, you know, there were some easy passes that he just didn't. I don't know if he didn't see him, didn't make him. There's one play in particular that stands out in my mind. I want to say it was on third down. I haven't watched tape yet, so I don't have like all the plays coming up to memory yet. But I want to say it was on third down where DeAndre Swift pops out in the flat. It's open. DJ Moore is standing about 4 yards next to him. He's over. Caleb starts doing the spin-a-rooney. Gets up out of there.
Tell me you didn't just
Tell
say
me
that.
you didn't just say that. Which Booker was that? Jordan JC?
Booker T, not Booker T.
Okay,
Washington.
okay.
Not Booker T. Washington. All right? We're
I
not
didn't
bringing
know if
it
that was
back.
Booker T or
Fine.
Booker T. Washington. And he runs to the left.
Yeah.
Omadunze butt naked open. Like, I mean, so wide open. You just gotta pull the and he never pulled the trigger. Then he ends up he ends up rolling to the left even more, fires a missile.
Oh, to Zacchaeus, right?
To OZ, almost gets picked off.
Yeah.
And the ball gets tipped in the air, but he threw it so hard that nobody could catch it. Like, that play to me was so indicative of what we saw from him yesterday. And I don't think that that's, who we've seen the entire season. That felt like the quarterback that at times we saw last season. I think that was just a bad game for Caleb. And here's what I'll say to everybody who's losing their mind over Caleb having a bad game. I can tell that most of us have never seen a quarterback develop or have not paid attention to how quarterback development has gone around the league. Every game that Josh Allen plays is not the best game of his life. Every game that we see Dak Prescott play is not the best game of his life. Success is not linear. And if you're judging success of a quarterback based on week in and week out standards, I would ask you, by the end of the year, do you pinpoint specific games to say that's why this quarterback has specific numbers? You usually go, he finished the season with 4,100 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. You don't go, but versus the New Orleans Saints in week 7, he only threw for 172 yards on a tough completion percentage. Now, if we're going to talk about the completion percentage, that needs to improve. Caleb said as much yesterday. Caleb also said, I'm bad. I was bad yesterday. He didn't go as far as Cam Ward, but, like he said, like, the struggles are on me and I got to get them fixed. But to judge this young man and the progress that he has made when we've seen some pretty good quarterback play for 3 weeks and now versus New Orleans, it seems like the world is falling and Caleb Williams is back down, which, listen, I know that like the loud audience is the one that has the loudest topic at that moment. Now everybody who doesn't believe in Caleb Williams is back when they've disappeared for 3 weeks in a row.
Of course.
So I know how it goes. But if your judgment on a quarterback is based on week in and week out success, you're not going to judge quarterbacks very well, because there's a lot of quarterbacks in this league that don't have week in and week out success. I hate to tell you this, Pat Mahomes ain't having week in and week out success.
Mm-hmm.
And according to PFF, he's the 13th best quarterback in football. I don't want to see him in the playoffs.
Yeah, we know that that's not necessarily true.
Like, that's how I go. Yeah, throw me a Jordan Love any day.
Oh yeah, FGB. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. No, my biggest thing with Caleb is obviously the scrutiny is going to be there because being the number 1 pick, everybody has the high expectations. They had the high expectations. You also, unfortunately, were grouped in with another Heisman Trophy winner in the same draft where it's like, okay, he won everything. He looks good, and everybody's, for whatever reason, is just spotlighting him. Like I even told you the other day, I had texted on the side, like, what is with all this Jaden Love? Even after he lost, I saw him have a sit down with can't remember the name of the female reporter, but she's well known, and talking about the dog in him and like his attitude and how he's just this great quarterback, and it seems like Caleb doesn't get that same judgment. It's every little thing that he does from game to game, from week to week, that's under a microscope, and that's what I think needs to change, is that we need to look at the whole body of work. I agree. You're not going to, at the end of the season, go back to the worst game that he had to be like, he threw for over 4,000 yards, with first ever quarterback in Bears history to do that. But that Saints game, he was atrocious. So he's a bum. No, you're going to continue to see him continue to progress and mature. And yes, I even admit that, yes, this game, it seems as if he regressed for the moment, but you love the accountability. Caleb said it himself. he's going to get better. He even smirked a little bit like, you guys, what do you think? I'm just going to be weak now just because I had a bad game? We still won. I'm going to continue to get better. I'm going to figure this out. And that's what I think everybody needs to realize, is that Caleb Williams will continue to figure it out as they're winning, as they're getting better, as he's understanding this offense. Mind you, again, there's only 6 games into this Ben Johnson career and development.
I know.
Like we're not 2-3 years into this, and where we're saying, oh, Caleb still isn't figuring this out, or he's not getting the simple things down. No, it's going to take time, but you love the fact that it's getting better and better, and you love the fact that W's are being piled up while they're trying to learn, and that's the biggest thing for me.
And I think my thing with all of it is, right, like if you just look at the numbers, if you just look at, well, listen, the completion percentage hasn't been good enough. I'm not going to sit here and say that Caleb is giving you a great four quarters outside of that Cowboys game. I think the Cowboys game is really the one where you could talk about him giving you a great 4 quarters. But in the Raiders game, you don't win that game without Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. The completion percentage wasn't great. The touchdown to interception ratio was 1-to-1. That was 212. You don't win that game without Caleb Williams driving you down, scoring a touchdown, and Caleb Williams drive you down, putting you in position to kick a game-winning field goal. Would end up being a game-winning field goal and then a blocked field goal. You don't win that game without Caleb. And you lost that game last season. The Commanders game, you don't win that game without Caleb. And Caleb Williams' numbers should look a heck of a lot better. He should have more touchdowns. But one of the worst referee games we've seen in our lifetime.
Lord have mercy. Yeah.
I mean, just god awful. And his numbers aren't as great as they should be. Was the completion percentage great? No, but you don't win that game without Caleb. Like, there's a lot of good that you've seen from Caleb Williams this year. And for some reason, because of one game, people want to take all of that good and say, oh, well, you know, this is just who he is. He's not good enough. He didn't score a touchdown. Like, he reverted back. And he did. Like, yes, he did a lot of the same things that we saw the season before. I'm okay with the criticisms.
Mm-hmm.
What confuses me is when in a successful game, where the biggest takeaway for me is the fact that your head coach called the game beautifully, realized his quarterback didn't have it, changed the tactic. He didn't play you out of the game. Like, there's people right now who would have you believe that Spencer Rattler had a better game because he threw 2 touchdowns in the middle of the game.
Man, had 3 interceptions.
Spencer Rattler's the reason you lost. He had 4 turnovers by himself. No help. He was the Michael Jordan of turnovers yesterday. 89 Mike. No help, all buckets. Like, that's the thing for me where it's like, success comes from team success. And it's why, like, it cracks me up when people look at the Eagles and they're like, Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback. I'm like, okay. And yet every time, you know, it seems like he gets called on and they need to throw the football more or they need to run the football more, like, he's okay with whatever it is as long as they win.
Mm-hmm.
Give me that dude 10 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the dude that's okay with the win. Give me the Caleb Williams who's sitting there screaming at the top of his lungs because, you know, in the locker room because the run game got itself going. The guy that wants his team to be successful while he continues to get better. And by the way, like you said, we're 7 weeks into this thing. This ain't even year 1 of Ben Johnson yet. This is week 7 of Ben Johnson.
Not done yet. Yeah.
There's a lot of improvement that's going to come this season. And if 7 weeks has told you anything, the improvement's going to come. The biggest problem Caleb's having right now is throwing on the move. We kind of know Caleb can do that. Like, yeah. I have no concerns right now about where Caleb Williams is at in his development. And I think this Bears team, by the end of the season, we're going to be talking about him as probably the best quarterback in Bears history, but that's a low bar to beat. But like, but I think that you're going to be talking about him as one of those top guys in Bears history, just based off of what we've seen through these first 7 weeks.
Yeah, and again, you know, this is something that I didn't necessarily think I needed to say, but again, just be patient. I'm sure all some of the people that And I just saw Shy City's comment not too long ago about Caleb hasn't been consistent yet, so it's okay to criticize him. Sure, we can criticize him in moments. It's nothing wrong with saying that he had a bad game. I didn't like
And we have. I mean, listen, I said Caleb lost the Vikings game.
Yes, absolutely.
I think the defense gave up a lot of points, but like, you got to score.
Yeah. I didn't like the fact that he gave the ball to Roma. He stared down Roma Dunze on that clear interception to Quincy Riley. Like, he should learn, obviously, to go through your progressions and not stare down the guy right when you need that third down pass to complete. But, again, things happen. People sometimes take a step back. Now it's about taking 2 steps forward. And I think, again, you have the trust because you have the coaching staff. And you have also Caleb, who is willing to learn and willing to accept when he has taken a step back and say, I will get this right. And you put belief in it because you're seeing as a team, in a team sport, them continuing to get it right and to make progress. It's not all going to come together overnight, but it will come together over time. And that's what we have to believe in.
Yeah, man. I think it's going to be fine moving forward. I think this Bears team is going to, really, really hit their stride, hopefully towards the end of the season. And listen, this 4-2 feels very different. We were 4-2 last season.
Yeah,
there's a 4-2 that feels very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about some of that and more later on today. And of course, moving forward throughout the week, we got a matchup versus the Baltimore Ravens coming. So let's see if 5-2 is on the table. Lamar Jackson's supposed to be back. Roquan Smith's supposed to be back. Caleb Williams going to need to be on his A game going into that game. But hey, man, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, and leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. As always, for Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Peace. Oh, shout out to y'all. I didn't check the numbers because I'm on OBS, but
what do we got?
Over 100 in the chat. Over 200 in the chat. Over 300 in the chat. Over 400 in the chat. 400.
Yeah, you just didn't want me to dance. That's all.
Yes, it's terrifying. I'm scared. Think of the children.